heart of South Carolina's backcountry lies a mystical place called Healing Springs. Located about 3 miles west of scenic Blackville off of Highway 3, Healing Springs has been a popular tourist destination for years, but the cool waters supplied by underground aquifers also have another reputation. The springs are reported to have healing properties, and the aura of mystery surrounding them has been the subject of conversation for more than 2 centuries.
The doctors said it was medicine was in it. I don't know. Said it was good for your health to drink it.
The legend of Healing Springs begins with the first people to settle the area centuries ago, the Native Americans.
There were several different tribes in the South Carolina area, pretty much divided along language divisions. Most of the tribes, almost too numerous to name, can be divided up into 3 basic categories: the Iroquoian languages, and the ones around here pretty much were Muskogean language. And so the Edistos, which were probably the ones in the Healing Springs area, were the ones that probably spoke that language. You've got to think back to the time when Windy Hill Creek was a very special spot because it was near the Edisto River and on high ground north of what is now Blackville, and it was an excellent place for people to live. So the Indians' concept of Healing Springs, very pure springs, very abundant springs, I'm sure they applied very magical standards to those springs. And I feel pretty sure that the Indians' attitude toward those springs were that they were being given to them by the Great Spirit for their use.
White European settlers soon displaced the Native Americans and began to clear the land for farming. But South Carolina would soon be torn apart by the American Revolution, and the legend of Healing Springs would grow to mythic proportions. By 1781, Charleston had fallen to the British, and the most powerful army in North America was now attempting to control the entire colony of South Carolina. In August of that year, General Cornwallis ordered a small British force under the command of Bloody Bill Cunningham to march north to 96. As they approached Windy Hill and the area surrounding Healing Springs, a small band of local militia attempted to stop them.
In relation to the Battle of Windy Hill, which became known as Slaughter Field, my grandfather, Patrick Kane, was a lieutenant in that battle, and I understand that he was the officer in charge of the Patriots on that day.
The local militia surprised the Tory soldiers, and a fierce firefight followed. But in the end, they were no match for the well-trained British soldiers. Within minutes, all of the Patriot militiamen were either dead or dying. At the same time, 4 British soldiers had been mortally wounded. Instead of taking the dying men with them, the British commander arranged to leave them in the care of 2 local men, loyal to the British Crown.
After the Battle of Windy Hill, it is legend that the British soldiers were carried to the springs for the purpose of healing. They were thought to not survive their battle injuries, but it is also said that the springs contributed the therapeutic waters and contributed to the healing, and that all of the British soldiers did survive and was able to leave and go back to their regiment in Charleston.
Despite their minor victory, 2 months later, the British Army under Cornwallis would surrender to Washington at Yorktown. However, the legend of Healing Springs and the wounded British soldiers would be told over and over again through the years, while others would claim to have been healed by the cool running waters. With Healing Springs Baptist Church being established near the site, their healing properties began to take on a divine nature. In July of 1944, Lute Boylston, who had purchased the Healing Springs property in 1900, determined that the springs needed to be protected for all time, and so he decided to deed the property back to whom he saw as the original and rightful owner. Almighty God. The county clerk officially approved the deed transfer, and thus Healing Springs is the only property in South Carolina where the legal owner is actually recorded as the Almighty. The site from that day forward became known as God's Acre. Today, the site is visited by thousands of people each year, and hundreds of local residents still come to the springs to fill their bottles and use it as their regular drinking water.
You can sit at Healing Springs any day and you can see license plates from all over the United States. So it is a very special place.
And the water is good, great. This is the only water we drink is the spring water.
This is where we come and the water is great. To me, it makes you feel better when you drink it, not this tap water.
Healing Springs is now an officially recognized historic site in the South Carolina National Heritage Corridor, who also assist in maintaining it for the general public to enjoy. There is no fee to see or drink the Healing Springs waters. They are there for everyone to enjoy as people have done for centuries, from the Native Americans, colonial settlers, and other local residents over the years to visiting tourists today. Whether you believe in their healing properties or not, the waters at Healing Springs will certainly quench your thirst and perhaps spark your imagination.
We're looking forward to...
It's supposed to cure all our ills.
All our ills.
So we're going to live to be 100.